Hey guys, welcome to Hughes History. We're going to break up the Constitution, guys, and you've landed in the Preamble. That's right, guys. The very beginning of the Constitution. It's not even the beginning, it's the beginning before the beginning. So, here we go. Let's see if we can keep it short and sweet. The Preamble of the Constitution. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. All right, let's break this bad boy up like a Kit Kat bar. Let's see if we can explain it simply. And whether you're in a intro law class or U.S. history or you're just Googling things on the internet because you're weird, we just want to really explain it in simpleton terms. Not that I'm a simpleton or you're a simpleton, but concept is most important. And then we're going to encourage you to do further study. But the first line is, I think, one of the most interesting lines. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. And of course, I find that interesting because of the words being grammatically incorrect. How about that for the first line of the Constitution? More perfect. What the hell does that mean? I think you're either perfect or you're not perfect. I don't think there's anything such as more perfect. But I think the intention here is that they're referencing the Articles of Confederation. Of course you know that, right? That the Articles of Confederation was the first Constitution. And this is a 10-year span from the Revolution to 1787 when the Constitutional Convention was formed and they wrote the new Constitution. But that first line, I think, is referring to the idea that the first Constitution is not working out and that the country isn't getting stronger, it's getting weaker. And of course, you know, there's 15 layers to that story in Shays' Rebellion, whether you believe that we needed a new Constitution, or there's probably libertarians out there that would argue that the Articles were just grand as they were. But that's for another day and another dollar. But that's the first line. And then there's 5 objectives, so let's hit them out of the park. Here's one. All right, so establish justice. I mean, it would be simple if we just said that and everyone was like, okay, got it, let's move on. But I think that this really reveals, the inner gizzards of political conflict and factions in the United States. Whether you believe when you read the word establish justice, that is something that you're referencing in your own context. That you might be referring to Trayvon Martin, or you might be thinking about, why O.J. got off, or it might be justice in that form. It might be civil rights justice, or maybe it's the justice to be left alone, or this kind of justice concept really depends on how you're reading it. And that's whether you believe in the first place in original intentionalism, which means that you think the word should mean what the founders meant when they wrote them, or you're somebody who's more loose with their constructionism of the Constitution, and you believe the founders wrote them in this way in order for future generations to interpret it in their own contextual times. The flexibility of the Constitution, or if you believe in a more rigid structure of the Constitution. That's what makes this all such an interesting topic to talk about. Look at me laughing inside as I'm being interesting. All right, so establish justice. Number 2, let's do it. Ensure domestic tranquility. This might be a direct reference in terms of original intentionalism to Shays' Rebellion. That to at least the manufacturing class, the more elite class, represented a real threat to private property and maybe to the structure of who was in power during the Articles of Confederation. So to ensure domestic tranquility means to keep the ship tight. To make sure that if there are rebellions or the inner gizzards begin to explode, that we can ensure that that's not going to lead to the destruction of the United States, that we're going to have some calm seas within our borders. So if we're talking about within our borders, then when we do provide for the common defense, boom, we're talking about the outside borders. We're talking about, having a sound military in order to defend our borders. And that was a weakness of the Articles. I mean, in a sense, I think when you read the Preamble, you should really read it within the context of the failure of the Articles. And, some people out there, you might be a libertarian and you're yelling in your head, Hughes, the Articles was the right way. But we're talking about history, of course, and we're talking about, in the founders' minds, what they saw as the malfunctions or the dysfunctions of the Articles of Confederation. So we establish justice, we ensure domestic tranquility, we provide for the common defense, and then I think the fourth objective is probably the one that gets into the most controversial language in terms of interpretation, to promote the general welfare. Now, that means what it means. I'm going to keep saying that. It means what it means. It means either what you think it means, or it means what you think the founders meant when they wrote that. But to promote the general welfare is definitely something that, if you believe in a loose interpretation, can certainly be construed to mean lots of things as times change. Or you could just maybe think of it in the purest sense of economic nationalism, something like Manifest Destiny or the Transcontinental Railroad or the canal systems or the interstate highway systems, that's promoting the general welfare, as opposed to some type of equality of opportunity concept where you believe to promote the general welfare means that the government should get their hands into making sure that the steps to equality are there for everybody, that the general welfare, that everybody has a chance to pursue their economic dreams. Yada, yada, yada. This is why it's controversial. Number 5, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. And of course, you're thinking, what the hell is posterity? Well, posterity isn't your rump, my friends. Posterity is future generations. So this means that liberty and the blessings of liberty is, top 5 of why the Constitution is there. And this, if you get into the Declaration, is the concept that they're not giving us our liberty. The government wasn't like, liberty, liberty, want some liberty. The government is there to protect the liberties that are within ourselves, whether you're talking about providence or your God concept, or if you're a pagan and you believe in the goddess, or you just believe in nature, or you just believe that we inherently as human beings have rights, and the government's job is to ensure those liberties. And again, you can get into liberty and the definition of liberty and what that means. And then finally, we do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Go team! That's the Constitution, guys. The Preamble. And if you're arguing or if you're writing about the Constitution, you definitely want to reference the Preamble because these are the objectives. This is the opening paragraph to the essay called the Constitution. It's the beginning of the movie. It's the script that writes the rest. So you definitely want to get that down. So we're going to come back at you guys. We're going to do the Constitution for Dummies series. We're going to do Articles 1 through 7. We're going to do the Bill of Rights. We're going to do the constitutional amendments. And we're going to see if we can't make you as prepared as possible to either be at a dinner party, take a test, or just be a bozo smart guy or gal. There you go, guys. Join us for other stuff. There you go. Subscribe now or you're a ding-dong. And definitely go down below on the subscription. You're going to find tons of other channels that you're going to want to check out and do all kinds of learning. There you go, guys. Thanks for joining us at Hughes History, where attention goes.